What if the classic Cinderella you know, wasn't on Earth at all? Step into a galaxy where glass slippers are robotic, gowns are holograms, and one star commander will change her destiny forever. The space station EREVOS-9 orbited the pale gas giant in silence, a massive wheel of steel and glass turning endlessly against the backdrop of stars. To most who lived there, it was a marvel, a city suspended in the void, a place where science and civilization had conquered darkness. But to one young woman, it was nothing more than a cage. Her name was Alara Solis, though few ever spoke it kindly. She lived in the lower decks of the station, where recycled air tasted faintly of rust and the hum of machines never stopped. Her stepmother, Commander Vara, treated her not as family but as a servant, useful only for repairing clogged filters, scrubbing grease from walls, and hauling scrap to the recycling bays. Vara's daughters, Lyra and Cassia, mocked Alara whenever she passed. They wore silken station gowns and boasted about their tutors in diplomacy, science, and star navigation, while Alara worked in the shadows with grease under her fingernails. Yet Alara carried something they did not, a hunger for the stars themselves. When her chores were done, she stole fragments of time to sit at the viewport in the abandoned docking bay. There she studied old ship manuals, patched together broken navigation screens, and dreamt of piloting her own vessel one day. She whispered her secrets to the stars, believing that somewhere beyond the darkness, her real destiny waited. The oppression. Vara never forgave Alara's father for marrying her mother, a scientist who had died young. When Alara's father was lost in a shuttle accident years later, Vara seized guardianship. She rose quickly in station politics, gaining control of the housing decks, and forced Alara into a life of servitude. "You'll never be more than a maintenance girl," Vara sneered once, catching Alara with a navigation manual. "Leave the future to those who deserve it." But Alara did not stop dreaming. She soldered broken circuits in secret, teaching herself programming from half-functional datapads. If she couldn't escape physically, she would prepare for the day opportunity arrived. The Galactic announcement. One morning, a buzz of excitement rippled through EREVOS-9. Holographic banners lit up the corridors, shimmering with colors of blue and silver. An artificial voice rang across the intercoms. "Attention citizens of the Sol Dominion. By order of the High Council, the annual Celestial Convergence Gala shall be hosted aboard EREVOS-9. Attending will be none other than Star Commander Kale Orion, decorated hero of the Frontier Wars. All citizens of rank are invited to join." Gasps filled the marketplace. The Convergence Gala was legendary, a gathering where leaders, scientists, and explorers met to discuss the future of the Dominion. For most, it was a chance to bask in the radiance of nobility. But whispers soon spread. The Star Commander sought not only counsel, but a partner, someone who could stand by him as he forged new paths for humanity among the stars. Lyra and Cassia squealed with delight. "The Commander! Can you imagine, sister? He'll be mine before the night is done," Lyra said, already planning her gown. Vara smirked. "You'll both attend, of course. A chance like this must not be wasted." And Alara, she turned her cold gaze toward the girl scrubbing the corridor floor. "You'll have your duties here. Someone must polish the boots we return in." Alara's heart sank. The ball meant nothing to her as a marriage hunt, but everything as a chance to glimpse the Dominion's greatest minds, to witness the possibilities beyond her prison. She had repaired ancient starship schematics. Imagine what she could learn from a real fleet commander. That night, she returned to her secret place in the docking bay, pressing her forehead against the viewport glass. Stars glittered back at her, distant and untouchable. "I don't want a crown," she whispered. "I just want a chance to belong to the stars." The preparation of the stepsisters. For the next cycle, chaos reigned in Vara's quarters. Drones delivered shimmering fabrics, jeweled hairpieces, and delicate exosuits designed for grace. Lyra practiced speeches to charm the commander. Cassia studied planetary trade routes to impress him with her knowledge. Alara was forced to serve them both. She stitched gowns until her fingers bled, polished crystal visors until they reflected like water, and ran endless errands across the station. "Don't crease the fabric, girl," Lyra hissed. Fetch me another hollow mirror, this one makes me look pale. Cassia demanded. Faster, Alara, Vara ordered, or you'll be cleaning the air ducts through the gala. Each command dug deeper into Alara's spirit, but she hid her pain. At night, when the others slept, she returned to her corner in the docking bay, where the silence of the stars gave her strength. The spark of hope. It was there, on the eve of the gala, that something strange occurred. As Alara tinkered with a half-dead terminal, a flicker of light surged across the screen. Lines of code scrolled faster than she could follow, and then the monitor stabilized into a glowing figure. A woman made of shifting starlight gazed at her, eyes like galaxies, hair flowing like solar winds. Alara Solis, the being spoke, voice a harmony of echoes. Why do you cry beneath the stars? Alara stumbled back, heart racing. Who, what are you? I am Naira, an echo of the stellar network. I am a guardian of forgotten dreams, wandering through abandoned circuits. Your longing called me here. Alara swallowed, trembling. I only wanted a chance, to see the gala. To prove I can be more than what they say. Naira's gaze softened. Then perhaps the stars have chosen well. For the commander does not seek vanity, but courage. And you, child, have both. The hologram's form brightened, illuminating the bay. But time is fragile. If you dare to seize it, I will help you. Do you trust me? Alara's heart pounded. She thought of Vara's cruel words, of the endless corridors she had scrubbed, of the stars that had called her since childhood. Slowly, she nodded. I trust you. Naira's smile was like the birth of a new sun. Then prepare yourself, Alara Solis. Tomorrow night, the galaxy shall see you not as a servant of shadows, but as the one who carries the light. And as the stars wheeled silently beyond the viewport, Alara felt, for the first time, that destiny was stirring, waiting to unfold. The docking bay lights flickered as Naira, the starlit figure, stood before Alara. Her presence seemed impossible, a ghost born from broken circuits, yet she radiated warmth and power. You want to see the stars as more than a servant, Naira said, her voice carrying the hum of nebulae. Then you must look like one who belongs among them. Step forward. Alara hesitated but obeyed. Her coveralls were stained with grease, her boots frayed and patched. She lowered her eyes in shame. Naira lifted her hand. A ripple of light surged across the floor, weaving upward around Alara's body. Threads of holographic fabric shimmered into being, like woven starlight. Her ragged clothes dissolved, replaced by a gown that shifted colors with every angle, sometimes sapphire like deep space, sometimes silver like moonlight, sometimes iridescent like the aurora. At her feet, her boots dissolved into crystalline exo-slippers. They glowed with a soft blue light, their surfaces etched with delicate circuitry. Alara gasped as they adjusted perfectly to her steps, light but strong. These are no ordinary slippers, Naira said. They are crafted from refracted star matter, bonded with nanotech. They will hold you steady even if gravity fails. But be warned, the energy that sustains them, and the dress, will collapse when EREVOS 9 completes its midnight rotation. You must return before then. Alara nodded, her heart pounding. I understand. Naira's eyes gleamed. One more gift. She touched the rusted floor. Metal fragments rose into the air, swirling until they reshaped into a sleek, silver craft, small, but fast, its wings glowing with plasma thrusters. Alara staggered back. A shuttle? A star chariot, Naira corrected with a smile. Invisible to security scans, but swift enough to carry you to the gala. Alara's breath caught. I don't know how to thank you. Live your truth, Naira said simply. And remember, you carry the light within you, not in what you wear. The figure shimmered and dissolved, leaving Alara alone with her gown, her slippers, and the gleaming star chariot waiting to launch. The journey. The day after the Convergence Gala, the entire station buzzed with rumors. Did you see her? The starlit girl who danced with the commander. They say she vanished like light itself. Who was she? Every corridor hummed with questions. But only Commander Kale Orion held the answer he sought. A single, glowing exo-slipper forged of nanotech and starlight. He studied it carefully in his quarters. The slipper's circuits pulsed faintly, resonating with the imprint of the one who had worn it. It was unlike anything in the Dominion's fashion archives, an enigma, just like the girl who had captured his heart in a single night. This isn't about rank or bloodline, Kale muttered. Whoever she is, she's the one. And so he ordered a search. Every deck, every ring, every quarter of EREVOS 9 will be visited. Whoever this slipper belongs to, I will find her. The Step families panicked. In Vara's quarters, chaos reigned. Lyra ranted as she stared into a hollow mirror. If only I had intercepted her sooner. The commander barely looked at me. Cassia scowled. She made us look like fools. Vara silenced them with a sharp gesture. Stop your whining. This girl will be found, and when she is, we'll make sure her path is cut off. Alara scrubbed silently in the corner, heart aching. She had barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Kale's gaze, heard his voice promising, "We will have more time." But now the gown was gone. The star chariot was gone. And all that remained was one glowing slipper, the one she had lost. She knew Kale was searching. But how could she ever prove it was hers? Vara would never allow it. The search begins. Commander Kale and his guard units began their search, visiting households across the station. One by one, they presented the slipper to women of noble rank. Some tried to squeeze their feet into it, forcing smiles of desperation. Others fluttered with false charm, pretending it must surely be theirs. But the slipper rejected them all, refusing to glow with resonance. Kale's expression hardened. She's here, somewhere. I won't stop until I find her. The arrival at Vara's quarters. At last, the guards arrived at Vara's home. Vara greeted them with practiced grace. Commander, what an honor. Please, come in. My daughters have been waiting for you. Lyra stepped forward in a glittering gown. Surely you remember me, Commander? We danced briefly last night. She extended her foot, forcing it into the slipper. It glowed faintly for a moment, then went dim. Lyra's smile faltered. Next Cassia tried. She twisted her foot, wincing as she forced it inside. The slipper flickered but again rejected the match. Kale shook his head. It isn't you. Vara's smile grew strained. I assure you, Commander, no one else here could possibly. A small sound broke through. A clatter of metal, a gasp. From the corner, Alara had dropped her scrubbing brush. Her heart hammered as Kale's eyes fell upon her. You, he said softly. Vara's face darkened. She's no one. Just a servant. But Kale stepped closer. The servant who watches the stars like they're calling her name. Vara tried to block him. You're mistaken. Kale held up the slipper. Let her try. The revelation. Alara trembled. She wanted to run, but Kale's steady gaze anchored her. Slowly, she extended her foot. The slipper slid on effortlessly, circuits lighting in brilliant resonance. The glow spread upward, shimmering across her worn clothes. Just for a moment, her gown reappeared, like the memory of Starlight. Gasps filled the room. Lyra and Cassia gawked in horror. Vara's face twisted with rage. Kale knelt before Alara, his voice firm but tender. It was you. Tears pricked her eyes. I never meant to deceive you. I'm no noble, no heir. I'm just me. Kale smiled. That's exactly who I was searching for. Vara's defiance. No. Vara spat, stepping forward. She's nothing. A child of filth and failure. She'll never rise above her station. Alara flinched, but Kale stood tall, his presence a shield. You're wrong. She's already risen above every soul I've met. She carries courage where others carry pride. Intelligence where others cling to vanity. She belongs with the stars, and with me. Vara opened her mouth to protest, but the guards moved between her and the commander. Her power crumbled in silence. The choice. Kale extended his hand to Alara. Come with me. Not as a servant, not as a disguise, but as yourself. Alara's breath shook. This was everything she had ever dreamed of. To belong to the stars, to live freely, to be seen. But fear lingered. What if I fail? She whispered. Kale's eyes softened. Then you fail trying, and I would stand with you through every failure and triumph alike. Because I know your spirit is stronger than any storm. Alara closed her eyes. She remembered Naira's words. The light is within you. She placed her hand in Kale's. A new dawn. The news spread quickly across EREVOS9. The mysterious girl was found, not in silks or jewels, but in the rags of a servant. Yet she shone brighter than any noble. Within days, Alara was no longer hidden in shadows. She walked the halls beside Kale, not as a trophy, but as an equal. She joined discussions with scientists, navigators, and explorers, her knowledge surprising them all. And when Kale prepared for his next journey beyond the frontier, Alara stood at the helm beside him, her hand steady on the controls. Epilogue. One night, as the fleet drifted through the silence of space, Alara returned to the viewport. Stars stretched endlessly before her, no longer a dream beyond reach, but a future she would shape herself. Naira's voice echoed faintly in her memory. The galaxy shall see you not as a servant of shadows, but as the one who carries the light. And so it was. Cinderella, Alara Solis, was no longer the forgotten girl of the lower decks. She had become the Starlight Commander, a legend whose name would be spoken wherever humanity dared to chase the stars.